When it comes to Liberty University, siblings playing sports together is nothing new. In fact, Liberty Athletics seems to be a family affair. There were the Frazee triplets for women's basketball. Jesse and JC Sanders also ran the hard court for the men's team. The Elmer sisters, Dawn and Crystal, both played women's soccer. And currently, volleyball has Jade and Serena Vorster. In the Flames hockey program alone, family is practically a tradition. There are the Docksteaders, Adam, Brad, Chad, and Devin, who all played on the ice for the Flames. The Fishers, the Reynolds, the Blues, the McCombs, the Backers, and the Boschmans. But while family members playing together is nothing new, one coaching the other is. But that's what you have here with the men's Division I hockey team. Assistant coach Luke Hannon is now coaching his younger brother and budding superstar Luke. Luke decided to attend Liberty University this past fall, and it was a decision that began a new chapter in his life, very similar to the same decision his brother Jake made 3 years earlier.
Growing up playing with Jake was a lot of fun. I was always battling to try to compete with him and the older guys. Jake and I were homeschooled for a couple years together, so we were able to go to the rink for a couple hours a day, you know, combined with the youth hockey teams that we were playing for at the time. So
probably the first thing that comes to my mind is skate and shoot every day from 1 to 4 p.m. Just play with all the local beauties, and then we probably had kung fu lessons or something after that, but definitely some good days. But that's where we really had the chemistry going. Lots of prep school and juniors and different cities, and I tell people I went to 6 different high schools and never went to the same elementary school for 2 years in a row. So just kind of always had my suitcases packed. I guess I was kind of shy and just insecure as a kid, and really was always looking to be cool, to find my identity in something, you know, in relationships with people or my popularity. And I used hockey to kind of get there and started to drift away from church, and I saw people that were living in the world that were athletes and things like that you know, seemed cooler than me. And when they would tell me stories about stuff that they were doing, I just always wanted to try that and see if there was anything in it. And so I spent a long time really searching for that happiness in the wrong places. Pretty much hit rock bottom in my life and realized that, you know, there's only emptiness in anything of this world, and the only real satisfaction you can have is in God's kingdom and in your identity in Christ and in heaven. So that happened when I think I was 22. I had played 3 years of hockey at other colleges, and I only had 1 year of eligibility left to play. And so that summer I was going to a really liberal secular school. I actually coached Jeff Becker, who was my coach when I played, was a professional hockey player. My dad was his agent, and so I knew that he had been coaching here at Liberty, and I knew that I couldn't go back to the environment that I was in before that at my previous college. And so I just made a phone call one day to the hockey office at Liberty and left a message because everyone was in a meeting.
Jeff and I were looking at a bunch of different players, and some had decided to go elsewhere, and it was really interesting. We got this sticky note from Jeff's wife, and she came into my office and said, hey guys, I think there's a player here who just called in for you guys, Jake Hannon. Jeff said, Jake Hannon? I recognize that name. And anyway, we called Jake and found out he wanted to come to Liberty, and that was the first time we met.
I got a call back about 45 minutes later from Coach Jeff, and he said, you know what's crazy is that we were just having a meeting about who we were going to have play defense for us next year. Just kind of, everything was pretty smooth from there. We got the application process going and got in and took a leap of faith to come here.
In 2011, Jake would put on his 3rd collegiate sweater, and in that time he would make the most of it. During his tenure with Liberty, he helped the Flames achieve great success. Jake was part of the team's top defensive pair, which was arguably one of the best in the nation. He helped the Flames finish ranked 5th in the American Collegiate Hockey Association that year, which at that time was one of the best team finishes since moving up to the Division I level. During that season, the Flames earned national recognition when Jake scored the game-winning goal against #1 ranked and NCAA Division I bound Penn State.
Finally they do. Turner with it now. Walks in top of the circle. Backdoor play. Hannon towards the net and he scores! Hannon sneaking in the backdoor makes it 4-3.
The coolest thing about playing hockey for Liberty is the fact that every day you know you're going to the rink with guys that not only care about you in hockey terms, but they also care about you in your relationship with Christ, and that was totally different environment from what I was used to.
You know, when Jake decided to come here, I wasn't surprised that he was making another change in his career, and I knew that Liberty was going to be a really good fit for him.
It was a high point in Jake's hockey career. Unfortunately, as things seemed to start turning around for the older Hannon brother, it was the younger brother Luke, like his brother Jake before him, who started to lose his way.
Well, I never really reached my full potential as a student or an athlete, and I was sidelined with an injury my final year of junior hockey, right at the end of the season, and you know, I didn't think I was going to be able to play hockey ever again, so I started working full-time and coaching youth hockey in Buffalo, but you know, away from the rink, I was making a lot of bad choices.
We were hoping that he would come, I think it was 2 years ago, and we were right up to the point of him coming a few weeks before school, and it just wasn't the right time.
Over the summer, I got to see Jake at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes hockey camp, which was in Buffalo. I didn't even know Jake was home. I didn't know the camp was going on, and I happened to walk into the rink because I ran 20 hours of ice a week over at the same rink there, and walked into one of the rinks, and I saw Jake on the bench and just happened to stay and watch for a little bit. And there was a guy with a silver helmet on Jake's team that he was coaching, and after the game I said to Jake, you got to get that guy to Liberty. He can play. And you know, that player ended up being Luke Hannon. And when I got down here my first day, which was a Friday, there was some open ice, and a couple of guys were skating, and you know, I looked to my left, and you know, there's a guy with a silver helmet skating next to me. I came down here really without the intentions of coming to Liberty in a few weeks, and I just came down to, you know, to visit Jake and see his family, and that next couple of weeks was pretty hard for me, and you know, 2 days before the class deadline registration, I called Jake and told him I needed to make a change, and you know,
It was a little short of a process. It was only a few days where we were able to get him in and get the ball rolling.
Pulled some strings for me here, and you know, God really revealed himself to me through my transition, my travels down here, so I know I'm in the right spot now, and it's just really exciting.
Now that the two have been brought back together, they are making the most of it. In the semester they've reconvened, the Hannons have found plenty of success. Jake and the rest of the coaching staff have guided the Flames to overcome numerous obstacles, including a plethora of injuries to hold on to their number 11 ranking and stay in the postseason hunt. Luke has played a major role in the team's resilience, leading the ACHA with 56 points through 24 games. And he also became the first ever Liberty player selected to Team USA for the World University Games in February. But most notable, Luke has been named an alternate captain with the Flames for the leadership he has shown this semester.
I mean, it's honestly the happiest I've ever been. I could say that, you know, completely honestly. You try to fill voids in your life with, you know, substances or, you know, pleasures and stuff like that, but just really like the natural happiness that I have now is completely different than any emotion I've ever felt before.
With all the trials both brothers have been through, they both relish in the fact that, like when they were younger, the Hannon brothers are back together again.
I think the biggest thing for me with coaching him is like, I'm more so just removing myself from the situation, and I'll look out on the ice in practice or on a game and just be like, you know, what the heck, like, is this even real? Like, just to know that God, you know, saved me and pulled me out of a bunch of stuff and then brought him here. It's literally a miracle, and you know, it can't be taken lightly. It's
a neat interaction between the two of them. Sometimes you see them on a road trip, kind of talking about something funny, maybe something about their family or a funny story about someone they knew back home or something. But it's handled in a very professional way. You know, when they're on the bench, you know, Luke and Jake interact very well. Jake doesn't treat Luke unlike any other player we got on the team.
I think that the dynamic has been huge on the ice, just the chemistry and Jake coaching and bringing the best out of him, but I think even more so off the ice. I think that Jake's had a huge impact on Luke getting himself down here, and also just mentoring him through things like through the scholastic side of it as well as the sports side of it.
It's amazing we were able to kind of rekindle our, awesome brotherhood that we have together. And
I think it's also just the stuff that we can laugh about because we're really different. Like, our personalities are really different, but we think the same about a lot of things. But, just joking about fantasy football or, something else. I mean, we've just known each other our whole lives. You got a brother or sister or something, you know how it is. And just having that is pretty awesome, because no matter where you are, life is tough and we need all the encouragement we can get, right?